I just want to talk about what it feels like when people say to me you should be proud of yourself, in the context of me being stealth and not wanting to tell people about my history, about how I was born. And I guess something to take into account here is that, of course, there are people who know, people I grew up with, my family. There are a couple of my friends, my exes, some of my doctors. There are people who know. It's not like I'm 100% shut off and, like completely denying that I'm trans. I think a lot of people get the wrong idea and think that stealth means that you just deny it to everyone and you're like super ashamed and like, I mean, sure, there are a few people out there living that way, but I'm not really going to judge them. I just want to clear up that seems to be the impression I get from a lot of people who talk about this topic, a lot of out people. The thing is, I am proud of myself. I am proud that I have got to this point in my life that I've been able to transition. I fought tooth and nail for this. I had the worst time, at school. I got bullied. Kids knew before I knew. I was called a man when I was a kid, as if it was the most terrible thing. I suffered greatly, and I didn't give up. Every day I wanted to give up when I was a teenager, and it was really, really hard for me not to do that. So yes, I am proud of myself. I'm proud of myself, as a trans person, for being able to push through this, even when it just felt like giving up was the best option. And by choosing not to tell, most people, it doesn't mean that I'm not proud. I'm I'm proud of myself for how I've handled my mum's death, for example. That was one of the most traumatic, awful experiences of my life, and I'm very proud that I've been able to push through that. I don't have post-traumatic stress disorder over it. I'm pretty well adjusted, looking at where I was compared to where I am now in regards to my mum's death. I'm doing fucking great. But do I feel the need to go around telling everyone about it? That's a correlation people are making. They think that if you're not telling everyone, then you're not proud. I don't want to go around and tell co-workers, I don't want to tell acquaintances, I don't want to tell even most of my friends about that shit. It's personal. I don't want to sit there and have a conversation about it. It's just, to me, it's kind of like any other medical issue too, as far as telling, when you tell someone you're trans, it's a medical thing for me. I have other medical problems. I've been in some traumatic accidents. I've been born with some things that are just out of my control that I had to seek medical attention for, and I've got through them, and I am proud of myself for doing that. But I also don't need to tell people about conditions that I have unless I want to. And if I don't want to, I shouldn't feel an obligation to. I don't think it's fair for people to then say, well, you're clearly ashamed of yourself, you're not proud of yourself. I mean, I'm not imagine if you suffered with irritable bowel syndrome and you're constantly shitting yourself, right? And somehow you overcame that, and you had someone be like, oh, well, why aren't you telling people that you had diarrhea all the time and you've overcome that, you changed your diet and now you're not shitting yourself constantly. Wow, you must be so ashamed. I hope to anyone listening, you don't take this out of context and you're like, oh wow, he's comparing being trans to having fucking diarrhea. That's literally not what I'm saying, but I'm just comparing the idea behind it. It's just not right to tell people that they're not implying that you're not proud of yourself if you're not out and loud, and that you're ashamed of yourself. there is no correlation between it necessarily. Yes, there are stealth people out there who are ashamed, but just because someone's stealth doesn't mean that they're ashamed of themselves for being trans, and it doesn't mean that they, you know what, it doesn't, it's also not the sort of thing, like, this is my experience, but if someone's not proud of themselves, that's fucking fine too. They can be proud of other things in their life. Like, if they're not proud of themselves for being trans, I mean, or things they overcome. For some people, it's just like, it's not even a choice. They have to transition or they'll kill themselves. And so they make the choice to live. And they don't have to be proud about that. They can just go, well, I did what I had to do and now I'm getting on with my life. If someone's living in such a way that has no effect on you, that's not hurting you, and it honours them and what they feel is right for them, let them do it. Don't be a dick to them. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to say on that topic. I hope that opened your eyes a bit if you're one of those people who says these things.